Hi everyone, and welcome to Rufus and Doofus. Chico here with Rufus, doing a video tonight. It's Sunday night, and it's May 10th, and you can see I've got my computer on here and I'm reading all the comments that were sent regarding the last video. I can't tell you how much everyone's lifted my spirits with their words of support, and again, many suggestions. Really unbelievable. I'm just overwhelmed. So I wanted to do this video right away. It's just, there's so many nice comments, and I can't answer them all. So that's the purpose of this video, is to thank each and every one of you for your prayers, for your support, for your humor also, which has helped tremendously. I just can't believe it. So not only did I get a lot of comments telling me to keep doing the videos, and even if they weren't about the RV, to maybe do some things on the cooking or my plans on travels and such like that, which I will do now. But interestingly enough, a gentleman who lives here nearby recognized a lot of the area that I was working in and made an effort and found me here and came knocking on my door because he had a suggestion that he wanted to present to me in person, so there was no ifs, ands, or buts that I got it. I'll just say the man's name is Jeff, which it is, but not his last name. I don't always comfortable with any more information to that. And Jeff said that he's been working on motorhomes for many years. He's a native here of Vero Beach, lived here all his life. He knows Ulf very well, and also his son used to work for Ulf. Had nothing but nice things to say about Ulf. But he just felt that he wanted to come over and talk to me directly and give me his opinion, because he said he has seen this problem many times. And it's his belief, and probably rightfully so, because after I got done talking to him and listened to his explanation and the answers to my questions, it all made sense. I can't deny that. And he feels as though it's the exhaust system. We talked about the catalytics in depth, and I was so impressed by what he had to say, and the fact that he came over, and I now have his phone number. I know where he lives. We've made a connection, and I plan on staying in contact with Jeff. But he feels as though there's something either with the catalytics or the exhaust system itself, because of the way it was designed, that it can be clogged by breakdown of the catalytic, or even the fact that it's a double-walled exhaust pipe, which I had no idea. I did not know that. That the internal pipe could be rusted out. It did sit for a long time. That makes perfect sense. And it's very possible that we're getting an accumulation of trash while we're driving, especially hitting bumps, things like that, and that they may in fact be plugging the exhaust. Upon turning the engine off, these particulates would settle down again or fall over or whatever. I mean, they could actually be lifting up and clogging the tube of the exhaust so that it's no longer free. Doesn't take much back pressure to screw something up. And I know that many of you guys out there had mentioned catalytics and exhaust systems, and I did not, not look at that. But after talking to Jeff, I think that maybe the way that we tried to determine if there was an exhaust problem wasn't correct. So he gave me some suggestions to do that with. And as I mentioned in the last video, I'm slowing down. I'm not going to get all excited and tell you guys I fixed it, or we fixed it, or Ulf fixed it, or Jeff fixed it, because I've been disappointed so many times. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to continue to try. And I think it's notable enough, this idea of his, to make mention here tonight on the video. So I was so excited, I drove down to Alts, and it was Sunday, and he was working, and I mentioned it to him. Well, as soon as I mentioned it to him, he looked at me and he had a smile on his face, and then he said to me something that I didn't expect at all. He said, "There are no catalytics on your rig." He said, "One of the things I was going to do was bypass the exhaust," and he said, "I looked when I went to change the O2 sensor, and there's no catalytics there, and I don't understand why." Everything that I've read out there said that I believe all of the vehicles, maybe trucks are an exception, I don't know. It's a 97 chassis, but there are no catalytics, which is, to me, amazing. I think that after I mentioned that to him, and the fact that when I looked for parts for the 97, it did list catalytic converters on the F3 chassis, so I'm a little crazy here trying to figure out where they went. I mean, you know, they just don't walk up and go, "Oh wait." It's very possible that sometime in the past, maybe the catalytics were there, and maybe there was a problem, and maybe they were cut out and replaced with a pipe. I have not been under there since I talked to Jeff, but Ulf didn't seem to think that something had been cut out of there. But he said he's going to look into it further. And we are also going to look into the possibilities that the exhaust pipe itself, the inner pipe, may have completely disintegrated, and is somehow, that material that's in there is somehow blocking the exhaust at certain points, and then, you know, reset, kind of like sand. When you watch sand blow, it kind of accumulates, and then something happens and it scatters, and you know. But this could happen, and so we're going down that line. That's one thing we're going to look at. The other thing is, a lot of you guys have pointed to the ignition system, which I think I mentioned in the last video that I'm pretty convinced that the fuel pressure, or the fuel problem, has been taken care of, if it existed. And I kind of think it did, but possible it didn't. So we're going to point our attention to a ignition control module, the PIP sensor that's in the distributor. It's actually a little thing that's in there that transmits the data to the ICM, which is the ignition control module. And the other component is the ignition coil itself that could be a problem. So we're going to start pointing our attention towards that. But we are definitely going to address that exhaust problem before we do too much with. We don't want to start chasing ourselves on the ignition too. So that's where we're at now. I'm here in the house by my computer, reading all the wonderful comments that you guys had sent. I just don't know what to say. Now, there is one thing that a few people had mentioned, and out of the very generous people who are willing to donate towards this problem. And I kind of have a rule that I want to stick to, and I don't really want to accept donations. This is my problem. This is something that I have to save and sacrifice for, yes. But if anybody wants to make a donation, please don't make it to me. I adopted Rufus from the Vero Beach Animal Shelter when he was a puppy. And when I went up there was 12 of those little puppies, his brothers and sisters. I'm pretty sure they all found homes. But there was a lot of animals in there. There was a lot of older dogs just waiting for somebody to adopt them. A lot of volunteer people walking around doing their thing. And Vero Beach Animal Shelter is just one of many. And I really do love animals, especially dogs. And if you'd like to make a donation in Rufus's name to your local animal shelter, that would be great. That would really make me feel great. And you know, let me know or post it that you did it, and maybe other people will do the same thing. But any donations, I think that's where I'd like to see them go. Not to me personally. Right now, fortunately, I do have some income coming in. I plan on doing some things on the road that maybe will generate some income. Very heavily into photography I was most of my life, so I'm kind of trying to figure out how I can maybe take some really nice prints and at a very reasonable cost. If anybody would like them, they could order them and you know, enjoy some of the photography that I might do. And also, a lot of you know I'm in the woodworking, and we talked about doing some woodworking on the road with a lathe from some of the local woods if I'm fortunate enough to find anything. So, but yeah, any donations, I'm really fortunate that I do have some income coming in. I mean, you know, I'm on Social Security. I work for it. I earned it. It's mine. It's not much, but you know, I don't live a very flashy life anyway. And right now, my big thing is this RV. And one of the reasons that I even considered doing it was I live in a place that can't move, and most of my money goes towards rent, utilities, and everything, insurance associated with this place. So I said, wow, wouldn't it be great if I could spend the same amount or maybe even less and live in a nice home, a smaller home, get rid of all the clutter, and be able to travel while I'm living in my home, and to be able to see things I've never seen, like the Grand Canyon, things like that, Yellowstone, and it doesn't have to be anything fancy like the Grand Canyon or Yellowstone. There are so many beautiful places in the country that I've seen, you know, and read about in my life, and those would be all great things to do. So, you know, that's the plan. One of the big reasons was to save some money, or not have any more expenses, and be able to live and travel more simply with my dog, and enjoy the rest of my life that way. I mean, you know, if they're gonna find me, like, you know, laying out there pooped dead and all that, I don't want it to be here. Let it be in the middle of the desert somewhere or something. But that's not gonna happen for a long time anyway. So that's about it. I don't want to ramble on here too much. This is the first video I think I've ever done here in the house about the Rufus and Doofus channel, and I wanted to do it right away. It's about 11:15 at night now, and I've been reading the comments for probably the last 2 hours. Quite a few of them, lengthy ones, and I don't like to skim over them. I like to read word for word, because through the words I can almost imagine what your personality is like, the type of person that wrote it, and you know what you kind of like and aspire to do. So it takes me a long time to read them, and when I do respond to them, I just, you know, very rarely do I just say thank you or oh yeah, that's nice. I mean, I usually try and respond with something sensible that has to do with your comment, and sometimes even goes beyond that. A lot of people want to meet up on the road. Oh my God, that'd be such a great thing. I would love to do that if we get going. Let me rephrase that. When we get going. Yeah, when we get going. You guys have made me feel that good. So we're going to get it done. It'll take a little bit of time, but we're going to get it done. So in closing, I'd just like to say thank you so much. You really lifted my heart. You really gave me a lot of satisfaction knowing that you're enjoying the videos. Yeah. So you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.